Hello, my name's John C. Krieg, and I like to think I'm an environmentalist. Um, we're going to suspend our series on landscape architecture for the time being and get into some of these promised videos on environmentalism. You know, sliced it, diced it, I crawled on my navel. Unless there's something specific that comes up, I think we've covered landscape architecture probably, probably almost as much as you can stand. For any further information concerning that, for right now, I advise that you go to the March 12th videos. There's a nonfiction um, chapter entitled um, The Noble Profession of Landscape Architecture, which is the last chapter in the upcoming The Life, the Arc of a Landscape Architect. And there's also the fictional Myopia, March 12th, which is supposedly an entertaining piece about landscape architecture, environmentalism, and all of that. So uh, I would direct you there. They're on my blog. Okay, the title of this video is going to be Environmentalism Is Not Dead. And we're also going to use that as a tagline. For some background, I have some other blogs. March 4th, an essay, Understanding Nature. March 5th, After the Drought, which is a fictional piece about sustainable agricultural practices and animal husbandry. And then March 9th, Ethics, which is a piece about how I feel about ethics. They make me uneasy. I get tired of everybody coming at me. They want a higher standard. The standards aren't standards. Why are they standards? I think the function of the piece and a lot of my anguish is there's a lot more being written about the environment than there is being done about the environment. That includes me. Not that I haven't tried and failed. My first book, where I thought I was going to be recognized as the next environmental prophet, is Environmental Cognizance. And of course, the marker just fell out. And I didn't do a preface here. Took the easy way out. I just threw in a passage from the book of Genesis thinking I'd get the Bible thumpers on my side. The next two books I did do a preface trying to explain myself. So probably what explains this book more than anything is the chapter One Man, One Life, where we attempt to get lyrical. Life, sweet life on earth, to breathe and walk and to be a part of it, to witness and enjoy the earth, to live upon the land and put back more than you take, to learn from those that came before and pave the way for those to come. It's a blessing to understand the earth and natural processes, but more importantly, to enjoy the thousands of little things. The slicing sound of winds that the beating wings of gliding ravens make stirs my soul. Their gentle, severe calling is their way of boasting that they are floating free while we are not. The ripple of fish in a pond, the full moon, warm rain, powdered snow, and sunsets. The earth is always with us. While we do our best to ignore it, she constantly reminds us of things big, unstoppable, and misunderstood. So that was done in 2005. The name of the book was Environmental Cognizance Towards the Year 2020. Okay, well now we're 15 years down the road and nothing's better. You know, I'm not going to whine and cry in a bitch fest, but nothing's better. Nothing's really gotten better since the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts of the 70s, which, came from Nixon. And it's hard for me to admit that Nixon did anything good, but he did start the EPA. I mean, everything bad in a hippie's life began and ended with Nixon, but he did do that. And I haven't really seen much after that. That's just how I feel about it. And then the next book was Echo Nation. That's Manuel Hamilton on the cover. He was a true environmentalist, and he wanted to put an ecotourism center that was going to promote environmental sustainable practices. He got the center up, and then he died. It sits there, and that's the end of that. And in the preface, Echo Nation accepts as a premise that the battle to save the environment starts at home on American soil. Hopefully, by getting our own environmental house in order, we can encourage the rest of the world to clean theirs. Do as we do, not do as we say, which is something they are tired of hearing anyways. And just as the scale is reduced to just one country, albeit the most consumptive country on earth, the scope must be reduced to just one or perhaps a few problems. Break the whole unruly mess down into smaller, more manageable parts. This way, any given individual isn't afraid to tackle at least one problem. That was the crux of my theory. But there was too much preaching to the choir. The environmentalists were talking to the environmentalists and just assuming that the common guy, the guy in the street, was hopeless. Well, why bother? I say in a video that's on the website, Creating a Global Skill, that my approach was to tell this guy he can count and he can make a difference, and that if he does just one thing done by millions is going to outdistance a lot of things done by hundreds. It's a numbers game. So we'll repeat that. Preface to Mobilizing the Green Revolution. Copyright late 2006. My basic concept is to reach the common man with a simple message that he does count and he can make a difference. All these environmental organizations in society are fine, although there seems to me to be a lot of backpatting, bordering on outright snobbery amongst many of their members. There's an element of intellectual one-upmanship within the environmental movement that's limited its growth or hastened its demise. Take your pick. In either case, the exclusiveness of a club limits its memberships. This is good if you're a fraternity or sorority trying to hoard all the good-looking people on campus, and not so good if you're trying to get a revolution off the ground. The common thing amongst environmentalists is that the movement has lost momentum since the zenith in the 70s. While this is true and misses the more important point, which is to define what momentum really is. In environmental cognizance, I wrote that momentum comes from action and not the other way around. I steadfastly stand by these words, but I feel it to the readership to find what action is. Simply put, the environmental crisis needs to be tackled on the two fronts of money and manpower. Well, where's the manpower going to come from? I've been preaching, begging for the Civilian Conservation Corps from the Roosevelt era to be brought back. I'd like to see it as a non-gun-toting branch of the military, where members get the same benefits when they muster out. I think it's just as important. We're at war. We're in a climate change war. You know, this thing in Iran is driving me crazy. All the videos of all the ships being blown up. Oh, great. You know, anybody, not one person's mentioned what's happening when they go into the ocean. They run on petroleum, and I mean, you might as well call the Persian Gulf the Dead Sea now. It's just, we spend money on such stupid things. Elon Musk, Sir Richard Branson, Bezos. They want to go to Mars. What the hell are they going to do when they get there? What kind of lifestyle would it be? It's just a gaudy demonstration of wealth. It's obscene. And also, I mean, I'm losing my point here. That money could be put directly into the environmental movement, directly into homeless shelters, getting people off the streets. But you know what it is? It's extractive mentality. They act like they're so much better than the logging industry and the petroleum industry and the factory farmers. But it's the same mentality. Use up a resource one place, find another there. Now they think they're going to, we polluted Earth, we shit all over it, it's no good, let's go to Mars. Well, it's not going to happen. We got one planet, and we better start thinking about how we're going to save it. Environmentalism is not dead. It's just too many disjointed efforts. AOC, Bernie, Governor Inslee, they're preaching the message, but I don't know, it's falling on deaf ears apparently. Generation Me, I feel bad for it. I've come at you pretty hard, but you got a rough road ahead. Now the banking industry's trying to come up with 50-year mortgages, as if a 30-year mortgage wasn't bondage enough. I feel bad for you. And as a boomer, I'm going to apologize to you. Greta Thunberg's right. We did fuck it all up for you. Leave you to clean up the mess. And I wish you good luck, but Mother Earth doesn't need us. I know I said in another video that she did, but now that I've rethought it in all my writings, life, some form of life, will go on here on Earth. It's just a question of whether or not we're going to be a part of it. Let's talk about our species, Homo sapiens. Can you name any other species on Earth that's devised a way by which to eradicate itself? Okay. And we're parasites. And here's the plight of the parasite. What does it do when the host finally dies? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to bring out my climate change book, and I'm going to make some suggestions. Our environmental awakening, a brief guide to surviving climate change. And I'll throw it up on the website, and we'll see if any of those ideas get listened to. So this is our opening video. I just wanted to get it off the ground and give you something to think about. So we're going to close by saying environmentalism's not dead. Goodbye.